Podsters, we're back. I'm back. I have a special guest. I'm going to jump right in because I don't want to stand in between you and Miranda. So today I have with me Miranda Von Fricken. She is founder of Own Your Awesome and also a LinkedIn strategist and a personal brand evangelist. Basically, what that means is Miranda knows and preaches the gospel about all things LinkedIn, but for me, the difference is she's not giving you corporate tips and like little BS tips and tricks. She lives, eats, and breathes LinkedIn, and she is going to talk to us today about a lot of things, but one of them is 3 things you can do to optimize your profile. Now, you may recognize Miranda because she and I do Sales Gone Wild on Thursdays on LinkedIn. We took a pause for the summer because, as you all know, I don't like to work very hard in the summer. And not that talking to Miranda is work. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Miranda. We're going to get into why waiting until fall is really not a good idea if you're looking for a job, why waiting at all is really not a good idea if you want to turn your side hustle into a full-time job, and why we don't believe in waiting around here on Unmute Yourself, the podcast. So Miranda, welcome. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I didn't say best-selling author. Should I have, by the way?
Well, as of this week, you should.
So I'm neglected to mention that Miranda just released an awesome book called, go ahead, Miranda, because you'll say it better than I do.
It's called Own Your Awesome on LinkedIn. There are 1 billion members, but only one you.
Oh, I love that. So for those of you who are like LinkedIn schminked, I'm here to tell you, not true. I have seen proof and evidence that if you actually do just a few things, you can really network on LinkedIn. So the reason why Miranda dropped everything to hop on this podcast, because I'm like, listen, I just did an episode about how you shouldn't be waiting till the end of summer, even though we don't like the word should around here, about how it's not a good idea to wait until the end of summer. And that I would argue networking is actually easier in the summer. Miranda has had sales roles. She has had HR roles. She is a life coach. I mean, she's all the things. So it's going to be an epic episode. So Miranda, talk to me, because I'm going to assume you agree with me. What we talked about last week was that a lot of people come to me in May and they say, yep, I want to work with you on leveling up my career or working on my business. I'm going to wait till the end of summer because I really want to enjoy my summer. Tell the podsters why that's a bad idea.
That makes me itch. That makes me itchy. Here's the thing, and I actually have a sign. Those of you listening can't see it, but those of you watching can see it. It actually says, do what they're not. Here's the thing. If you're trying to stand out in a crowded market, whether it's business, brand, mission, volunteer work, or a job, you need to stand out. You need to do what they're not doing. And a wonderful way to do it is when people are taking a break, you double down. So in the holiday season around, the end of the year, they're taking a break because the year's coming to a close. I double down. In the summer, I could still be barefoot and go double down, Nance. I know that's your jam. So I'm with you on the bare feet. So you can still have a fabulous summer and double down intentionally your efforts on LinkedIn. And I often say, if you're not on LinkedIn, Podsters, what are you even doing with your life?
Oh, that's awesome. And so here's the thing. We're talking about if you work for yourself or if you work for someone else.
Oh,
Because
of course.
here's something that really bugs me. I'm not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you. When I see people that work for large companies, and some of you know who you are because I've had this conversation with you, and all you post about is your company. My company this, my company that, my company just like, that's nice. And I want to hear what's happening with your company, but I want to hear about you. And for me, I know exactly who it is. And every time they post, I'm like, this is going to be a boring corporate post. So before we get into 3 things people can do to optimize their profile, tell me a little bit about, what do you think about that? You think I'm like too tough on people?
No, not at all. Is it your company? Let's be completely honest. Like, it's somebody, I mean, it is somebody else's company. And if you are utilizing your platform to grow their organization, are you getting paid bonus for marketing? Are you now an influencer for them? Or are you just getting your 9 to 5 salary in order to do the job you were hired to do? No, you're going above and beyond and utilizing the platform, your personal brand, to elevate somebody else's results. I don't know how I feel about that. Two reasons. One, if it's not benefiting you, there's other things you can be doing that'll benefit you. Two, if you're only sharing your company's content, like literally reposting it or spewing the marketing that the marketing department puts out. Now, listen, I'm not judging. I used to be a marketing department, so I get it. But if you're only sharing what the organization is telling you to share, that's not your voice. And I am like the anti supporter of using your platform to share someone else's voice unless it's like you're elevating them like in the moment. So like Nancy and I are going to share each other on our platforms because of this episode to support our listeners, our fans, our viewers. But if all I did was share Nancy's stuff, Nancy, who am I? And why would they trust me? Because they don't know me now. So I'm just, yeah. So there's a disconnect with companies and how they're having their employees utilize LinkedIn to grow the organization. And then it's a missed opportunity for the employees to utilize the platform and to leverage it for their career elevation.
Okay, that you could not have said that better. So I'm just going to drop the mic right there. Here's the only thing I would add. Eventually, you might leave your company. And if you leave your company and the only thing you talk about on LinkedIn is your company, the only people that are following you or engaging with you are people that are with that company. It is a massive missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I get most of my leads on LinkedIn, most of them, like probably 90%.
Yep.
The other thing is, I don't go to LinkedIn to hear about your vitamins. Okay. Remember we use the vitamin example when we do our sales gone wild. So let's say you work for a vitamin company. I don't go to your feed to hear about your vitamins. I don't. And this might be a game changer for some people, and I hope it is. Of course, you want to talk about your company and what you've been doing. And I was just at this meeting, blah, 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 or that meeting, blah, whatever. Great. But if all you're posting about is your company, you're going to lose me in the algorithm because I'm not really going to follow you. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So not only am I not going to follow you, I'm not going to engage with you. So the algorithm's not going to put it on my feed. So I'm not going to see it. So you're talking to dead air. So that's the unfortunate side of on LinkedIn, we have to nurture the community. We have to show the algorithm. She's a sassy one, this algorithm, and she changes as much as I change my undies. So there is, you got me started. So there is definitely something to be said about sharing your company stuff. I don't want to deter them 100%, but that no like and trust factor isn't happening for you for them to connect what you're saying to from the company to their mouth. So they're going to stop engaging if they do it all. The algorithm's going to notice that, and it's going to stop showing them. I literally just got off a call with a client who said, well, I'm putting out content, once or twice a week and nothing's happening. So I don't know if I should stay on LinkedIn. Well, great. Posting and praying is not a strategy. Like, I mean, listen, I'm all about a prayer, but it's not going to help you if you're not actively moving it forward yourself by doing the other things, which of course I'm sure we'll dive into. But you can't just share your company's content because Nancy's right. You may not work there forever. And when you leave and everybody's like, oh, where is she now? What is she talking about? Oh, I thought she worked for this company. Okay, she doesn't anymore. Bye. If you can get them to connect to you, your personal brand, who you are, how you roll, why you love your company, utilize your experience as the employee in that company to share stories about them, they'll connect to you and your experience and be curious about all your experiences.
Yeah, I love it. Great. I love it. Awesome. One last thing I want to say on this. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I get a ton of likes, and comments when I talk about my company, look at who's liking and commenting, people from your company.
Yeah, and set your goals too. Like, what are your goals for this? I always listen, this whole book is about intentions. What is your intention for your time on the platform, for the platform itself, for you, your goals, like your intentions for the post? If everybody in the company, like, there is one organization that does it right. That I work with. They will share a new hire, and that's wonderful. Introducing the new hire. Everybody in the company shares the new hire. All right, that's cool. But they don't add to it. They're just sharing. So they'll get this huge boost in attention for a second, and then it drops off and it messes with their numbers. That's a whole different story. But if they're not saying, yay, Steve works for our company now, and I met Steve, and this is his values, and here's a conversation we had, and here's why you need to follow Steve, and we're just so pumped to have Steve as a coworker here, not just like, yay, Steve works for my company.
Right.
It's like, cool. Like, so all the employees are going to like it, but are they your clients? Are they the people you're trying to sell to? Like, does it matter that no, it just doesn't work. It's ineffective.
Ineffective. All right. So let's talk about 3 things one could do over the next, what are we in now? It's going to be mid-June, when it's going to be actually the first day of summer, right before the first day of summer when this airs. So you have June to July, July to August, August, September. Okay, you got 3 months. What's 3 things one could do to amp up their profile on LinkedIn or awesomeify? What do you call it? Make their profile more awesome? Whatever you
Zhuzh it
call
up, zhuzh
it.
it
Zhuzh it
up.
up. Yeah.
Which starts with a J, by the way. I had no idea
I
when I
always
put it.
use G, but that's good to know. Yep.
Yeah, weird. Okay. So 3 things you could do today that will affect your results over the next 3 months. Like, that's even better than just one thing a month kind of thing. Like,
Okay.
3 things you could do today is set your intentions. Let's get real granular. Let's get real clear. Why are you on LinkedIn? What's the purpose? Who are you trying to reach out to? It can be a quick 5-minute conversation with yourself and jot down some notes, a little brain dump, and then look at your profile and say, am I speaking to that person? Will what's currently happening on my profile, we're not even talking about the activity yet on the platform, just your profile. Will it attract them? Does it tell them what to do? Do they know what I do? Like, does it say all the things on my profile? Is it obvious? And that's my favorite word when it comes to LinkedIn. Is your profile so clear and obvious who you are, what you do, and who you serve? And makes them take action. And if the answer is no, that's okay. You know where to start now. Start doing the work. You got your intentions, who you want to attract, you know who you're working with. Now align the verbiage, the visuals, and the vibe of your profile to those goals, to that person, and make sure they know what to do. That's the 2 biggest things I can tell you to do. The third one is then what are you doing? You can't just put it out there and do nothing. You got to take some action. And the easiest form of action once your profile's up and running is just to join the conversation, right? Join the conversation of people in your home feed, join the conversation of your connections, because that will push your name out. So people will start to recognize your name, see you a little more. I didn't even talk about writing content, which is a whole different beast. And sometimes there's a lot of introverts out there who are like, I know I need LinkedIn, but I'm not going to write content. I don't know what to write. Like, thought leadership is a whole different beast. And like, we can absolutely talk about that too. But 3 things to do right now is to know where you're going, who you're going after, and then start to engage with them and join their conversations. And I think that can really start to push you out in the next couple of months. Now, if you want to get like super into it, we could talk DMs. Nancy and I love a DM conversation. If you're job seeking, of course, you're going to apply for jobs. The coolest part is now your profile looks fantastic. And I won't even talk about like optimizing it, because when you design it, you do want to optimize it, but that can get a little intimidating, right? Like, what does that even mean? Really,
No,
it's
well,
keywords.
hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Because that's what we're after.
Okay, we want to
I
all
like,
right, let's talk optimize.
so I like the intention. That's great. And then you were like, oh, and just align your profile with what you want to get out of LinkedIn. And you're like, and then blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, hold up. So how do they actually align your profile? So what do you mean by that?
So that is essentially the who am I talking to, right? Who am I talking to, and is it obvious? That's the actual profile option. Like, this is how you not only attract the people, but when they come to you, they know what you do and that you're the one they want to talk to. So that's mostly just the visuals, like what it looks like. You're gonna fill out the banner, design something cool in the background, your photos there, your headlines there. Like, the easiest thing for me to say to get started is just to fill in all the boxes of your
Yeah.
profile. It's
Yeah.
very user friendly. Hop on top to bottom. I often say, does your top pop, right? Like, so add some color. If you look at mine, don't get intimidated. It does not have to be hot pink, yellow, and confetti, but look at Nancy's. Hers is beautiful, super professional, says all the things. We know what Nancy does. We don't even have to scroll down anymore. We can tell in her banner and her headline exactly who she is, who she works with, and if I need to work with her. So at that point, you can click connect or DM her, and you really don't even have to go into more. But if you want to, you can. So does your top pop? Is it obvious? Does it answer the question, who am I? Who do I serve? And what do I do? And so the optimization side of things is really filling it out, utilizing keywords, and making it so obvious that makes them want to take action.
So you said a couple things there that I really like. You always say things that I like, but particularly today, I love does your top pop. That's great because that's easy to remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would agree. I don't think you need to have the bright pink or whatever, but you need to have a banner in the background.
Oh,
And
yes.
it is go to Canva, type in LinkedIn banner. Or if
Mhm.
you don't go to Canva, have one of your kids or your nephew or your niece or somebody go to Canva and just make you a little banner. It doesn't have to be super graphics. And then check the boxes. So it really, I know a lot of people who are like, it's too overwhelming. And I just worked on a LinkedIn profile with someone who didn't have one, which is wild to me. And I'm like, just answer the questions,
Yep.
answer the questions. And you go top to bottom. And then all of a sudden he had this huge, resume of all the things that he's done. He's like, and he got jazzed and he got excited and he was excited to talk about it. And he was excited about his profile. So there's a big, big, big ripple effect. So if you can't think of anything, just go in and make sure all the boxes are checked. I love that.
Yeah.
Love.
So good, so good. And I love that you said he was like super excited to talk about it because what a boost in his confidence, his professional confidence, that now the visuals beyond the paper of the resume, where I was in HR for 15 years. Anytime somebody applied to a job that I was semi interested in, I went right to their LinkedIn. I want to see their face. I want to feel their energy. I want to see if they added anything extra to the experience, the about. I want to see how they write and how they communicate with the outside world, because a lot of the times it had to do with my role, like communication, right? Most roles do. And so I'm going right to their LinkedIn. So if someone's looking at his resume and goes to his LinkedIn to get more, because the resume is just going to answer the questions based on your professional experience, maybe get you in the door. Can I do the job? Your LinkedIn is who are you as a person in your professional world too. It's a whole different level to the job applicant's toolbox. And so it boosted his confidence because now he feels it's almost like wearing a beautiful suit to a job interview where you can wear like sweatpants if you want to, but you dress up anyway. You just stand up a little straighter and your confidence skyrockets in the interview because they've seen a lot more than your resume.
I love it. Best nugget, who you are as a person in the professional world. That's great. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That like you drop these little nuggets and they're great.
I do.
Total nugget. We need a little nugget marketing thing, but we'll talk about that.
Miranda nuggets,
Miranda nuggets.
nuggets of awesomeness.
So I love it. So when you say, put in keywords, stuff like that. So what I think you mean, or what I know you mean is put in words that are going to help me show up in a search for the job I want. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. And not only like, what is the job you want, career you want, not just what's in the job descriptions, because those are key too, right? So those are key for recruiters who are looking for keywords, the ATS in your resume, all that stuff. But what's the job you're looking for in the future, like the next level of you? Add those words in too. And you got a lot of space. So fill it up, put those keywords in there multiple times, put it in your banner, in your headline, in your about section, in your like looking for work section, the little, services, looking for work or open to work kind of section in the middle, in your experience, in your testimonials, like put all the keywords in there. What are you known for? What do you want to be known for? What kind of role what do you want to contribute to that role? And make sure every one of those words are in there multiple times. It doesn't have to be silly, but like it has to make sense, of course, in the sentence. But yeah, put it in there. Why not? So when I search for something specific, director of people, you're popping up because people is in your LinkedIn
Yeah.
profile
Yeah.
tons of times. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. I would add to testimonials because you just made me think
Mhm.
of this. It is so easy to request a testimonial from someone you know.
Yeah.
It is so important. And for those of you who've done the strengths test that the high five test that I've done with a lot of clients and that I talk about a lot on this podcast, use those 5 words because those 5 words are your strengths. It's what you like to do. It's what you want to be doing. So let's say I was going to ask Miranda to write a testimonial for me. I would say, Miranda, would you be willing to write a testimonial for me? Here's how it'll help me. I'd be happy to do the same for you. Blah, blah, blah. Please make sure you include the word inspiring speaker, energetic, blah, 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 and all the things that I want people to make sure they remember because again, people are going to keep hearing those same things. It's going to keep showing up in your profile and you're going to keep reiterating that message. So I love testimonials. That's a great idea.
Me too. I remember back in my 9 to 5 world in my past life, I'd have a good review with my manager and they'd say, oh, you did a great job, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Can you tell LinkedIn. Can you tell LinkedIn how great I did
Good
this
for you.
quarter? I
Good
do
for
the
you.
same thing when people are already reviewing my book. I'm like, this is amazing. They're texting me, sending selfies, or even putting it on Amazon. That's awesome. I can't put it on LinkedIn. Only they can. So I'll say, can you copy and paste this right onto LinkedIn? Like, what are your thoughts? And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. And so you can't be shy asking for evidence of your awesomeness, if you will, and put that out there, because that comes with you forever. All the jobs. It's a testimonial forever.
Yeah. You know what I would add, because I know a lot of people that listen are leaders, they're senior leaders. So think about, let's say Miranda reports to me, and I go out on LinkedIn and I say, I just had the most delightful conversation with Miranda. I was giving her her performance review, and I got to tell her about all the great things that she does for our company and why I love working with her, and then named a few of those things. Think about the morale, and think about how Miranda would feel after I did that. I mean, that's a great idea. I love that.
It
Why?
actually looks good for you too. As my boss, as the executive, you put a review about how wonderful I am, but it actually makes you look fantastic
Of
too. It's
course.
like, wow,
Yeah.
I want to work for Nancy. She
Yep.
really gives kudos to her people. This company that Nancy works for really cares about their people, and I want to work for that company too. You don't
I
even
love it.
realize
Yeah. Yeah.
it ripples to all levels.
Ripples. It's a ripple effect.
Ripples everywhere.
All right. So we said, what's your intention on LinkedIn? So let's say my intention is, I want to enjoy my summer and I want to show up on LinkedIn. All right, so let's think about this, because like I think I'm my ideal client. Like I think I'm the podsters that are listening. So my intention for LinkedIn for the summer would be to tighten up. I want to tighten up my skill set. I want to make sure it's very clear, and I want to make sure I'm showing up as my next level excuse
Yep.
me. So then you're saying make sure your profile is aligned with that intention. So get rid of the cutesy language, right?
Yep.
Well, when I say the cutesy
Ish.
language,
I know. I'm like, I love me
I
a good
mean,
emoji.
I know, I mean, not cutesy. It's get rid of the vague. Let me just say vague.
Yes.
So I help women level up. Nope. Nope. What you help women level up? Where? How? Doing what? I help companies meet their sales goals. No, like, no, I think,
Yeah.
no, I feel very, very passionately about this.
Yeah. I
And
actually hate the word help, to be honest.
oh my, have we not had that conversation? I hate it. Hate.
I'm
Like,
not,
no, nope.
yeah.
So what could you say instead? I empower women to live their best
Guide,
lives at work. What's that?
encourage, like a
I
guide,
encourage,
encourage, direct,
work
like,
with, all that stuff. No, help. I don't. Help is
yes.
a very I don't like it. It's a passive word.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry for all of
It's a
those.
lower level word too,
I agree.
vibrationally,
I
energetically.
agree.
Help is very low level. I help my daughter
Yep.
tie her shoes. Like, come on,
Yep.
like it's too generic. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
100%.
I coach sales teams how to maximize blah, 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 blah. Anyway, um, so I would say take a look at that. And then I'll ask you this, but I'll ask you this in a minute. So let's talk about joining the conversation, because I think this is the best kept secret on LinkedIn. This was a
Sure.
game changer for me and my
Mhm.
networking. So tell me what you mean, and then I'm going to jump in.
So often people are nervous about putting content out for many reasons. One, they're shy, or they don't know what to say, right? They just don't know what to put out there. But they're also afraid that their current employers are going to think they're looking for work if they start to shine a light or create a brand for themselves. So they get a little nervous about that and decide to do nothing, which hurts them. Instead, and this has so many more benefits than even putting out content, is to engage in other people's conversations. That's a collaborative effort where no one's going to feel threatened by you joining somebody else's conversation about something they put out, a high level topic. Not like I'm applying for this job and you're like, "Ooh, I love this job" in the comments. Like, that's ridiculous.
Right,
But
right,
if
right, right.
somebody says, had a fabulous conversation with so and so, or went to this conference, or whatever the post happens to say, and you say, wow, that looks like an amazing opportunity, like, what was your favorite part about it? What was your biggest takeaway? You're joining a conversation as if you're in a networking event. LinkedIn is a professional networking event. Like, I look at all the other job sites as something separate. Instagram is like a fashion show half the time, right? And or a museum. Everybody's looking perfectly coiffed over there. Facebook is very much my grandma's barbecue where I'm posting my street corn and it's delicious and I can't wait to sample it. LinkedIn is a networking event. You're walking in the room, all eyes on you, and they have every single group or table is having a professional conversation that you need to be a part of. So every post is a different table at the networking event. And the coolest part is you don't have to be nervous about it. You can just go to this table because they're inviting you there. They put out a post so you can engage for them with them. And so you're joining their conversation with something beyond great post, like give some value. Don't worry about having to add information or facts about the topic, but you can say, wow, what a great conversation. Like Nancy, your content is fantastic. You talk about saying lately it's been, I'm not fine. So me, I'm like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, why do we say that? Why do we do that to ourselves? Like we're having a conversation and you're coming back and forth. And here we are building community and building rapport, and the algorithm is taking notice. And so is anybody that could potentially hire me in the future. My name is being recognized by your entire network. And it doesn't look like I'm applying for work.
I love it. So very similar. I was going to say, I view LinkedIn as like a giant cocktail party where there's different conversations happening. Like, let's say you're at a trade show and there's a giant free cocktail party, different conversations. Oh yeah, that's boring. I don't really want to join that conversation. I'm not passionate about it. So I'm not going to go swim over there. Fine. Or I'm not going to go. No. And also, if there's something that you're passionate about, find it. Search in the search bar about homemade beach balls or whatever. Like you're going to go and you can search. I guarantee you that there is something, if your next job, you want to be a project manager or you want to be a marketing man, social media manager, whatever it is. If you put those search words in LinkedIn, it will pull up all the groups. These are free. You go to those groups and you start making some conversations. So tell the Podsters a little bit about the algorithm and what it means when you say the algorithm loves it when you comment. What does that mean for me in terms of my visibility?
Yeah. So I try not to get bogged down with the algorithm. I literally wrote this book to outlast the algorithm because it changes every day. Right. I'm not even kidding. Right. 1 minute we've got stories. Now we've got a video tab. Now, like every day there's something different. And so I try not to let that or analytics weigh me down. Yep. My whole thing is who you're being, per se, as opposed to what you're doing. However, with that said, the algorithm does have a small hand in pushing our content, our conversations forward. So as long as you're not being spammy by like adding like sales comments or
great job.
Links,
right.
Yeah. Or like generic stuff. It won't even like pick up on your generic great post. It doesn't help you or the person you're commenting on. But the algorithm is showing an interaction between the two of you, an exchange. So it's almost like the algorithm now sees, oh, Nancy and Miranda enjoy each other, right? Because they're having conversation. So I'm going to show Nancy more of Miranda and I'm going to show Miranda more of Nancy's content. Same in the DMs. The DM is like a bonus too. So sometimes if we're having a great back and forth in the comments, I'll go right to somebody's DMs and say, we are having such a good conversation. Do we want to take this to a Zoom? Like, did we just become best friends? And it's like a hilarious conversation. And we take it to the DMs and the algorithm says, oh, they've elevated their conversation now to the DMs. And I don't know if there's a point system back there, but I swear there is. And there's double the points for the DM, especially if they reply to your DM. And then you're connecting to each other if you're not already connected, because second level connections can see each other's comments when first level connections interact with it. So now, unlimited access to people.
Love it. That's a great segue to what I was going to say, which is if you don't know how to get started commenting like strategically, which I'm not even going to say strategic. If you don't know how to, if you're worried about commenting and it being weird, here's what I would do. Let's say you want to go work for, what's a great company that we want to work for? Let's say you want to work for Veuve Clicquot. There is a champagne thing in the background. So I would look up Veuve Clicquot. I would see who I might have a second or third connection with. I would connect with them or follow them or whatever. And then I would start commenting on their posts because now you're talking to somebody who works for the company you want to go work for. Yep. And you're getting exposure to the people that are on their page, which is probably a good proportion of the people that work at the company. So again, it's like if Veuve Clicquot had, or the company I want to work for, had a private table at a cocktail party and they said, would you like to come join our conversation? You'd be like, oh, of course. Right.
Sure
That's all
do.
it is. That's all it is. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
It's really, some people get very intimidated by it because they think everybody can see. And it doesn't necessarily, just because you have access to all these second level connections, doesn't mean everybody's seeing your comment. It's not like you've got a microphone and everybody's hearing your every word, because the algorithm doesn't push it out to everyone because they're not engaging also. So take a little bit of that pressure off and just organically have a conversation with somebody who essentially comes up to you and says, hey, how are you? Because if you're seeing their post, it's an invitation. So
I
engage with
totally agree. And I
yeah.
have met some of the best business relationships that I have with some very, very high level people. I don't like that word, but people that are so far ahead of where I am.
Yeah.
And they're delightful and they want to help. And we become friends. And it was all
I
through
mean,
LinkedIn.
we met on LinkedIn,
We did. Well, I looked you up on
right?
LinkedIn. I think I looked you up. Didn't I look you up?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. All right. So we have set your intention, or if that's a little woo woo for you, I would say think
What are your
about
goals?
what do you really want to get? When you're done with the summer, what do you want your LinkedIn? What
Right.
does that mean for LinkedIn? And for me, it would be tightening it up.
Yep.
Then go do that. Make sure that your profile is
Right.
aligned with your intention and then join some conversations. So Miranda gave me some advice a long time ago, and it was about engaging. And I was doing this for a while. Like, I love my morning cup of coffee. I love it. It is sacred. So she said, take your cup of coffee, take it outside in the garden, bring your mobile with you and scroll through LinkedIn, make 5 comments.
Yeah.
Like I say, stack it. It's called habit stacking. Stack it with something that you like to do, and it becomes a habit and you'll like to do it. I have to tell you, when the more I engage on LinkedIn, the more leads I get, period.
Mhm.
Period.
And the more you like it, I get all over the board why people aren't on it or haven't gone to it yet, from it's a resume site to my people aren't there, which is nonsense. There are people's there. However, the more you're on it, and I just had this conversation, I feel like it was so powerful. The more you're like it, of course, is the basic foundation of that conversation. But the more you're on it, the more you're like it. But you're never going to get lost in a scroll to zone out like you would on, say, an Instagram. Like, I love me some Instagram, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going there to learn something or to elevate my status, my professional. I'm just not doing it, right? Like,
No.
I'm going to veg out, right? I'm going
Right.
to just see what I'm seeing.
Mindless. Right. Yeah.
I've never mindlessly scrolled on LinkedIn and been like, well, that was a waste of a half. I never got lost in the scroll and thought it was a waste of my time,
Yeah.
because the intentionality of people on LinkedIn is different. The conversations are different. It's a different level. They have different vibrational conversations. They're higher. They
Mm-hmm.
want to buy. They want to grow. They want to connect. They are purposeful. And not to say that none of this happens on Instagram. I just haven't found it yet at the level that I'm looking to play at. I'm not looking to play small and engage with randomness. I'm purposefully engaging with people that can elevate my career, my business, and my existence here in this world. And I know what my people are doing that on LinkedIn. And I never find something that's random. Even the randomness on LinkedIn has purpose, which is hilarious to me. Like, even the memes have a comical business angle to them, and they're all coming to grow and to learn and to a little bit of entertainment, because it's not just stuffy, but like, there is a reason there. People are growing, they're learning, they're elevating who they are, and I want to go with them. And so that's why I'm there.
I love it. I love it. And I agree. I've never not learned something when I'm scrolling. So you gave us 3 great ideas. Intent, what's your intention or what's your goal? Make sure that your profile's aligned with that and then join the conversation. If you had to pick one of those and only one, because I know you Podsters, you're like, that's too many already. I'd be like, forget it. Nope, can't do any of it. So if you had to pick one, what would it be?
So I think the most bang for your buck is the engagement piece. However, there's a caveat. If you're engaging and they come to your profile after engaging and you look crazy, that was a waste. So
No
I'm going to
janky
have
profiles. No
no
janky
janky profiles,
profiles.
because
Yeah.
what happens when they go to your profile and there's a sad gray square and there's nothing in the banner and it doesn't say what you do or who you are? They're just moving on. You wasted their time, if I'm being pretty frank about it. Like, get your profile up and running 100% to say all the things it needs to say. Essentially, look at it as if it's a billboard, you're driving down the street, you're at a red light, and you've got 30 seconds to impress your ideal whatever, hiring manager, business owner, client. And the light turns green and they go. And you had a blank billboard. What purpose is that serving? Like, no, fill that billboard out. Say, DM me, call me, contact me, hire me. So when the light turns green, they can take a quick picture of it, or they can whatever they got to do to get a hold of you. Like, don't bring them if you're not going to take them on a journey or take them somewhere else, right? So what's the point of bringing them? You're going to invite me to a party where there's no champagne. I don't want to go.
I love it. That's great.
Don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time. I love it. So tell us a little bit about why you wrote the book, why we should buy the book, what we'll learn from the book, and where we can find you, all the things.
All the things. All right. So I'm on LinkedIn if you couldn't guess already.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And by the way, guys, her name really is Miranda von Fricken. That's just type it in and it's like it spells. But and I'm going to link all the things. I'm going to link all the things. Yeah. Okay.
So I wrote the book because I just have so much to give and I didn't want to forget it. So I put it in a book. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's partially the reason, but it's also because, so this is a series called Own Your Awesome. My podcast is called Own Your Awesome, and LinkedIn is the platform I use to do everything, to shine a light on my awesomeness, to connect with all the people. So LinkedIn is where I am, and I know it's where you need to be too. So I felt it was a great item for everybody, to college students, executives, entrepreneurs, employees, to not have to worry about buying somebody's $500 course or spending $5,000 to work with me. Like, you can just buy this book and do it on your own, apply all the things. It's actually a workbook too, Nance. It's half LinkedIn, half personal branding. So you are getting a lot of bang for your buck in this baby. And so the reason I think it's so important for people, and it's actually what the woman who wrote the foreword literally said, it's a rally cry for people of how to be, not just what to do. And so listen, my background is in motivation. I've got a master's in motivation. I've studied the science of happiness at Yale. My role on this earth is more than to teach you LinkedIn. And this book is like a little bit of everything, but you're also going to leave knowing how to make money, find the job, elevate your brand and mission on the platform. And you can't do this for $21 anywhere else.
Boom. I love it.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
All right. So we're going to link to your LinkedIn profile. We're going to link to the book. We're going to link to your podcast. I think that's it. Anything else you want to say? I mean, do you agree with me that summer's a good time to look for a job? I do.
I'm obsessed with it because of my do what they're not doing motto.
Yeah.
Like, if the people you're in competition with are taking the summer off, don't you think this is the best opportunity for you to shine a light on your candidacy with a new employer? Right.
Yeah.
But I would also say approach them a little casually in the LinkedIns. How's your summer going? Like, we talked about this a lot in Sales Gone Wild. Like, you don't got to come in hot and be like, hire me. I know you're not getting applications. Come in smooth with a little riz, if you will, as the kids say.
What's riz?
And it's a charisma.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I know.
All right.
These kids. I got a 12-year-old daughter, so I know all the lingo. But come in like, how's your summer going? How is everything? Like, what's your office like in the summer? So you can have a casual conversation that leads to a professional opportunity. And this is the opportunity. This is the time to do it. This is the season.
I love it. It's perfect. I agree. Totally agree. People are much more open to it. Awesome. Love. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't wait to have you back. I think we might need to have you back to talk a little bit more about the connection between what did you say? Let me find it. I wrote it down because it was a great nugget. Who you are as a person in the professional world. I really love that. I really like that. I like that. Miranda, thank you. Podsters, peace out. I'm back next week. And why don't you close us out, Miranda? This is how she closes out Sales Gone Wild. Go ahead. Do it.
Well, Sales Gone Wild is until next time. Stay safe out there. It's wild. But typically now I say, until next time, continue to own your awesome.
To continue to own your awesome. Peace out, Podsters. Back next week.